Welcome to Up Close with Carlos Sang, celebrating art, entertainment, and the human spirit. Holly Godliman, it's so lovely to be speaking with you today.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like as a Gen Z theatre goer, I kind of feel like I missed Tom Stoppard's like Twilight in a way. I
Mm.
really didn't think I've actually seen that many of his plays. How sort of like familiar were you with Tom Stoppard's work yourself?
I wasn't that familiar with much of it, to be honest. I mean, I saw Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead at the Old Vic on like the NT Live thing when I was about 16 or 17, because yeah, I was working at like an usher. I think it was at my school they were doing like a showing of it. So I remember seeing that and being completely struck by it, and I fell in love with the work. And I didn't know it was a Tom Stoppard when I was watching it, and then I fell in love with it, but I hadn't read any of his other work. So when this one came through, I was a little bit intimidated, but no, I've just sort of fell in love with his writing, and yeah, it's a huge honor to be part of his work.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Arcadia is very much due a revival, and it's very much been described as the perfect play. What do you
Mm.
think it is about this piece that makes it so acclaimed?
It's his language. It's just so exacting. Like every line has rhythm and tension, subtext, and the play is driven by longing and curiosity and loss. So it's something that people can connect to. It feels very timely and it's aged very well. I just think it's an incredible play.
Obviously, the play very much centers around Thomasina Coverly, but Chloe very much provides a very interesting contrast to Thomasina. What has it been like, excavating this character and getting her to fit into the story too?
Chloe is amazing. I love her. She's so confident and fun and very, very funny. So it's been a real joy to tap into that humor and wit. I think the interesting thing about Chloe is, the play deals with such intense and complicated scientific ideas like entropy and chaos theory. And the brilliant thing about Chloe is that she feels all of these intuitively. So she can recognize the chaos in human desire and understand the ideas of determinism and arguments of free will. So she's like a physical representation of the chaos of humanity. So it's a real pleasure to be playing someone who kind of reflects some of the ideas that people are talking about. She knows what she wants and she goes with that. So it's great. I love playing Chloe.
Yeah. Do you see much of yourself in Chloe as well?
Oh, I kind of I wish I was as bold and confident as her. I think there's parts of her which I resonate with. I mean, whenever you play a role, it always has to come from you a little bit. Um, I admire her lack of need for control. She kind of revels in the beauty of chaos, and I would like to take that from Chloe and move on with my life because yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty, especially being an actor, and she kind of adores that and runs with it.
With Tom Stoppard's writing, as we talked about earlier, it's so perfectly written. Is it very easy to lift those words off the page and take it onto the stage, or are there certain challenges with bringing something into life?
I think it's a little bit intimidating because it's just so well written. So there's parts of me which are, doubting whether I'm getting into the full-on subtext and the depth of all of it. But what he's written is so human that it doesn't feel too tricky to tap into. Yeah, so it is a challenge at times, but I think luckily with Chloe, because she is just so connected to the emotion of everything, I find it quite easy to go into that as opposed to having to talk about iterated algorithms and things, which I might struggle a bit more with because the maths and science really is not it's one of my strong suits.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Carrie Cracknell is such an appropriate director for this piece as well. And what has it been like working with her? And what have those conversations been like on, how to bring Arcadia to, the 2026 audience?
Carrie's amazing. She gives all of us just such freedom to bring in offers, and from day one we were all bringing in our own ideas and she isn't overly prescriptive. She doesn't micromanage. She just lets you say, okay, well, this is what I think the character is, and run with it. And she just adds to that, which is really lovely because, yeah, I think it's always a bit intimidating when you work with someone who wants to put you into something which is clashing against your own ideas. But no, Carrie's fantastic, and I've admired her work. I mean, I've seen a few of her shows, and so yeah, I was completely in awe of her, still am, and working with her. Yeah, it's incredible. She's also just like the loveliest person ever, which also really helps.
Of course. I'm very excited about the play being playing in the round as well. Is that an
Yeah,
exciting challenge for you as well?
yeah, I've never done a play in the round before. It's great. It's another challenge, really, because you want to let everyone in, but it's a joy in it because in the round it sort of reflects everything we're talking about when we're going around. It looks very meta when it comes to the universe and atoms and everything going around in this timeline. It's incredible. It's so fun to be in the round. And yeah, I'm still finding my challenges with it and making sure not to just perform to one side of the stage because that's always the temptation, isn't it? But yeah, no, Carrie's helping a lot with that.
Yeah, and the Old Vic is, it's so steeped in history. There's been so many of these greats who have walked on that stage. Does it feel like validating, or is it still quite intimidating, the idea of like performing there every night?
Um, I've sort of been pretending that it's not happening because it's so, yeah, it's incredible theatre. I'm so, so, so lucky and honoured to be performing there. But yeah, I am definitely intimidated because I've seen so many shows there. I love the Old Vic. I love their work. And the thought of doing it's scary, but I'm also just so, so excited. It was always a dream venue of mine. So yeah, when my agent called me to let me know that I was even being seen for this project, I was just so excited. And then yeah, to hear that I was going to be doing it, it's incredible. I am still pinching myself. I have a little lanyard that says Old Vic, and I'm looking at it like, what? This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing building. Do you feel like there's also like an intimacy, in these like larger venues too?
Yeah, I mean, I saw A Christmas Carol last night actually,
Oh, really?
which is playing there at the moment, and I was right in the stalls. So what they've done with the space, it being in the round, you feel the intimacy of almost like a studio theatre, like a black box, because you can see the performer right up close. But then when you turn around, you see just how enormous the venue is. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, where you can play to the scale, especially because the themes in the play are just so epic. So you can really revel in all those ideas and share them out there with the audience members right at the back, right to the person at the very, very front. It's a really, really interesting space. And going in there last night, it doesn't look like the Old Vic. It's really changed. It's kind of amazing.
I mean, it's such a transformative space, and it's so different to the Ustinov studio, which I saw you in Doubt.
Oh, no way.
It was so yeah, it was so wonderful.
Oh.
What was it like, being, I guess, like the youngest member of that company as well, as a four-hander, and you're working with like Maxine Peake and Ben Daniels and Rachel John. Like, what was that like?
It was incredible. I had the best time on that job. It was my like professional debut. So it was a pretty mad cast to be a part of because I adore all of them and they are just such incredible performers. I learned so much from them. But in terms of like the being the youngest or the age difference, I didn't really feel it, to be honest. They were so welcoming and we all just connected quite quickly. We had a lot of fun in that rehearsal room and throughout the whole run. There was a lot of joking around because when you're doing such a heavy, intense play, I think it's quite daunting and you can get sort of lost in the seriousness of it all. And yeah, it's really dark. So we all just were giggling as much as possible about things outside of the work and connecting about what we were up to yeah, apart from just being actors. So they were all incredible and each of them just yeah gave me so much advice that I'll carry throughout the rest of my career. I was so lucky to do that and yeah, I love them all deeply.
Yeah, I mean, Doubt itself is also a fascinating play. It's so compelling. You're never really sure where it's going to go.
Mm.
What was it like, getting into your tapping into your character as well and developing that, relationship with these other characters too, who were sort of like morally ambiguous as well themselves.
Yeah, it was so fascinating. I think the thing with Doubt is the characters are kind of all archetypes, really. So Sister James herself represents innocence and naivety a little bit. So essentially, having to deny quite a lot of what's happening throughout the play, nor does she want to know anything really. There's scenes where she's just like, I don't want to be a part of this. I do not want to be the middleman. She really deeply connects with God and everything that's going on that they're talking about with Father Flynn. It's just not what she signed up for at all. So she's completely out of her depth. But it was great to really dive into that. I feel like I've mainly played characters who are quote unquote more like villainous or bolder or meaner at drama school, playing characters who are very strong in their opinion, and the audience might not agree with them. So to play someone so innocent and almost like the light of all of it, yeah, it was a real challenge actually. But I love Sister James. I mean, she's so pure and sweet, and I just wish that she wasn't in that situation because she was traumatized.
Yeah, I mean, she's such a wonderful character in such a dark play. Did
Mm.
you have any sort of like preconceptions about, the plot, what it centers around as well yourself?
I think when before actually starting rehearsals, I thought one of the main things that matters was did he or didn't he, and we needed to know the answer. I thought within day one we were going to discuss, right, did he do this or did he not? But the more that we went into it, I was like, this is not what the play is about at all, at all. It's about belief and faith and denial at times and what you choose to believe. I went in kind of assuming it would be a bit of a whodunit, and came out realizing that it's so much more than that.
Yeah, I mean, you left drama school, not that long ago. Did you have an idea of what sort of parts that you wanted to play? Did you have like a bucket list?
Well, I had like bucket list venues and bucket list like people that I wanted to work with or actors that really inspired me. In terms of roles, I'm sort of always up for anything. There's things that characters that I resonate with more and find easier to play than others. I just wanted to challenge myself, really. I always wanted to push myself. I didn't want to get stuck in a casting bracket of playing, I don't know, just these archetypal characters. Like, I wanted to play a whole broad range. And so far, that's happening. So I'm very, very excited by that. There's not many characters that I don't want to just get stuck into. When it comes to theatre, that is. I go and see a lot of shows, and I'm always like, wow, that's incredible. How did they research this? And yeah, there's with theatre, you kind of become a little expert in that certain period of time, and you learn so much about that project. So I've been very lucky so far. So,
Yeah, I mean, like, what would you say has the most surprising thing that you've learned about the human condition from doing all these parts that you've done so far?
oh my God, what a question. um, I think that we're all very, very similar, really, because you can play characters that are so far from each other, but when you really boil down what they want and what they're driven by, a lot of people, we all want similar things, and we're not too different, and we're all sort of passengers going along this journey to the grave. And you can look at certain characters and call them villains or call them heroes, but I think we're all deeply, deeply flawed. But I think that's what connects us. And even playing someone who might be quote unquote incredibly innocent has their flaws.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got more in common than what divides us. Certainly. I mean, when you were playing Sister James in Doubt, was there like a certain like message that you wanted to get across to your audience too?
I suppose the main thing I wanted to get across was that it wasn't, yeah, the play wasn't about whether he did it or not. It was looking at the wider themes. It was about the Catholic Church and how corruption can be mixed with faith and how certain people can get into the church, for ambition's sake or for other reasons. And it was more about connecting with all the wider themes and not just focusing on whether this man did it or didn't do it. And Father Flynn has this incredible monologue, I think it's at the very beginning of the play, where he talks about faith and how you cannot have faith without doubt, really, and how that's where it all comes from. So that's really what we wanted to push across, was that, questioning things in life, it can leave you feeling completely alone, or you can kind of revel in it.
Yeah, I mean, when you see the line between good and bad, so blurred, does that make you sort of more skeptical about the world around you, or?
Oh, I don't know. We're in a really interesting time at the moment, and it's very easy to put people into good and bad. I think there's always so much more subtext to everything, and you can look at it in two different ways. You can be hopeful or you can feel despairing, and I'm always trying to feel hopeful about us as humans all trying to get along a bit better. And I'm quite a hopeful person, really. I try and look at the world with a glass half full.
Of course. I mean, coming to Arcadia now, I guess the moral lines are less blurry, and you're talking more about different timelines, but also like the gender dynamics as well.
Mm.
How, like, would you say that that's a sort of like aged into 2026 too?
Yeah, I think it has. I think what's great about Arcadia with the two timelines is because the 1800s, seems ages and ages ago, and you still have strong female characters in there. Like Lady Croom is such an incredible character when she comes on, and she knows exactly what she wants and is incredibly confident. And then modern day, you have Chloe, you have Hannah. Like, he's written such incredible women, and of course, there's Thomasina at the centre of it, who gets questioned by a lot of the men throughout and almost dismissed. Her ideas aren't taken that seriously at times, or maybe because of her age, she's so young. But what's wonderful is, in the modern day, people kind of realizing how incredible this girl was, and if she were to live a longer life, would have been, could have discovered things that were discovered thousands and thousands of years later. So Tom Stoppard he's written incredible female characters, which it's a privilege to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like women still struggle to get taken seriously today because they are women? When you look out into the world today and you with the rise of the manosphere and Andrew Tate and all of that as well, does that concern you at all too?
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's a constant struggle, really, in all sorts of aspects of life. I mean, whether it be, I don't know, like you say, Andrew Tate, or these men who think that they have autonomy over women's bodies, where, you can't really name a law which talks about a man's body in the way that you can with women. So, of course, it's still a struggle. I mean, it's gotten better, but there's a long, long way to go, definitely. We're nowhere near equality.
Yeah, I mean, looking ahead yourself as well, would like writing, directing, producing, are those sort of like avenues that you'd be open to exploring as well yourself?
I would love to write. I really, really would. I'm not trying to rush it because I've got ideas that I'm trying to sit on and let them marinate a bit. I've always struggled with actually trying to knuckle down on a plot because I'm always drawn to character and humans in terms of what they're feeling and what their intentions are, as opposed to the story itself. So I'd love to collaborate with someone who could help me with the plot, because I don't actually have the story, but I've got some lines which I would love to share.
Of course. Are there still any like dream parts that you want to do, whether it be like Shakespeare or something like this more contemporary or
I think I'm really drawn to classical plays. I really, really am. I'd love to do a Chekhov. I'd love to do Shakespeare. I'd love to work, at the RSC or the Globe. And, in terms of dream characters, I'm usually more drawn to like, I love Lady Anne. That's a character that I love playing at drama school. To play her would be incredible. There's all sorts of characters, really. I try not to get too caught up in one, because then I don't want to wish away my career going, oh, I never got to do this. But I try more just to, yeah, get excited by the playwrights themselves. And when I see work or directors who really grip me and their productions, I just find exhilarating. My bucket list becomes more about working with people and collaborating. So yeah, even working with Carrie now is just such a pinch me moment, because I remember seeing her work and thinking, oh, you're so cool. I would love to just talk to you about plays and your ideas and what you work on. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a fantastic cast on Arcadia as well. Isis Hainsworth playing Thomasina. What's it been like, working with everyone there too?
Oh, it's amazing. Everyone is so lovely. The funny thing is, because we're split in two timelines, I haven't worked too much with the 1800s lot yet. I think it's sort of happening now that we're getting into runs and stagger throughs, which is lovely. But yeah, I mean, it's been a joy. Everyone is so incredible. So I'm just trying to absorb and learn so much as I can from everyone, really. The beautiful thing was doing a stagger through the other day and seeing all the scenes which they've been working on, which we hadn't seen. And yeah, I'm in awe of everyone. There's not a single person who I'm not just completely struck by. So I'm having a blast.
Yeah, it definitely looks really exciting. I'm so glad that the play is coming back. Again, I'm sort of like shocked that I've never actually gone to see Arcadia myself before, so I'm really looking forward to it. Just as the last question, and what do you hope audiences take away with them when they come and see the play?
Curiosity and taking all of that through once they leave the theatre doors, and remaining curious about fellow friends, humans, colleagues, all of it. I think the play, it's not just for scholars, it's for anyone really, and you can take from it what you will. I certainly take certain things from the play that other people might not, but it's about just remembering that great ideas and great art lives on long after we're gone. So you can take from the play whatever resonates with you, and to carry on that connection with everyone, because yeah, it's about linking timelines and feeling connected as opposed to feeling isolated and alone.
Yeah, absolutely. Holly Godliman, it's been so lovely talking to you.
Thank you. It's been lovely speaking to you too.